gonna have to re-invite him.
Is it gonna be Don? James?
Oh, he's in it now or not. I'll see him in a Hey.
Hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any chance you guys...
Yeah.
There we go.
We're gonna move.
Trying to get us all here. We're all here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, there we are. Hey, we have to move to a different room. There's some people on the phone here, so we'll be right. I mean, we're just going to carry the computer. But
Okay.
it's weird.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
We're gonna move.
Trying to get us all here. We're all here.
All right, there we are. Hey, we have to move to a different room. There's some people on the phone.
We're
here,
getting
so
an
we'll
echo.
be right. I mean, we're just going to
Really bad echo.
Weird.
Wonder where that's coming from. Can you hear us at all?
Okay, I think we're good now.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. There was just like a really weird delay. I was wanting to make sure.
All right.
So first off, let me screen share. And show you, we did a little bit of HTML work. Where did I have that? Here. So I think earlier you saw what we did in like Visual Studio, but this is actually written in HTML, so it's a little more realistic as to what the final piece will look like.
Looks good.
Okay. Where is that?
This is on their own.
Okay. Clint, was that?
Hey, Clint. that was weird. Does this do, besides the HTML markup being there, does it actually do the functionality of it, or is?
Not yet. The thing that we had a question about mainly is why we're calling is we are unsure of how to go about testing PHP on the Ugly server.
Testing PHP, like running it?
Yes.
You all have a directory on Ugly. So here, yeah, you all have that directory. So what I would do is I would make a new directory, just mkdir, right? And just make a new directory and call it like UK test or something like that. We'll just start with that.
Okay, my computer's going to be difficult. Either that or the connection timed out.
It's always difficult when there's
Somebody watching.
somebody watching over your shoulder.
Yeah, we ran into that last night.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to nuke that.
Hey, Clint,
Yes.
can I ask a question? Is this going to be mostly technical in nature, or do you guys have some questions about methodology and things like that?
I believe this is mostly going to be technical.
okay, hate to be rude, but
Well, we understand.
we had a really
Yeah.
good, well, we had a really good response to a marketing thing that we did last night for our software, and we're getting overrun with phone calls and emails, and I'm going to help the woman that handles all that. I need to help her because the day's winding down, and we got people who want to buy. So
Well, that's good.
that's good news. So I'm gonna get to that. But if you need me
Alrighty.
to, get me.
All right, gotcha. Okay, so you made a test directory. So now you can go to UKSP 2015 G2.optionapps.com/test, and that will be that
Okay.
directory.
Okay.
So give that a
Simple
shot. I gotta grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
Do we want to try to do that while he's gone?
I don't know how long he's going to be.
When he is back, William should go over there. So, I think we need to query.
Okay, well, ask what you need to ask.
Do you think we do? I think you already have.
Okay, so did that work?
Should. I've got, where did I put that? It's called backtest.
Oh, yeah. I think you meant to say CP instead of CD.
Did I say CD? Yeah.
And then omit the slash in front of the test, or it's going to try to put you in the root directory, and it's going to say that you have permission denied. And then just start with test. Yeah. And just a little tip, if you're copying to a directory in Unix that you want to just put it in that directory with the same name, you could do test/dot, and it'll keep the name the same, but you don't have to type the whole thing out.
Okay. Okay. So now it was ugly.optionapps.com/UK.
No, you're going to do UKSP. You actually have your own subdomain. UKSP 2015 G2.optionapps.com. /test. There you go.
There.
So, just besides the image being missed, looks good.
Awesome. So next, what did you have, Drew? What did you want to ask?
I just wanted you to, if you wouldn't mind, going over a little bit what we went last time. I was having a lot of connection problems that day, and I was just wondering if we could just go over that again, and also so that Zayu could see it, about going in and doing the exact scripts. And I was also wondering, do you all prefer for PHP? We're going to be connecting to this database. We use MassSQL Connect or PDOs.
I usually use MySQL Connect.
Okay.
Okay. When you said go over what we did last time, are you talking about the queries that we sent you?
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we needed help with so that we can transfer them over to PHP.
Okay, here. I'm going to do a screen share, and I'm going to actually get into your directory and pull up those, and then I'll kind of do an example of one, and that's probably going to be your best bet. So we'll go here. Can you all see my screen now? Or not yet?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here still.
I think it's in the process of loading.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So,
You all are recording this?
Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure.
all right. So we'll start with this, and I'll put this over here, and then I'll get a new window. Oh, wrong password.
I think I know he won't be able to see us as well.
Let me make it full screen.
So we're going to move your backtest page and call it backtest.php
Okay, that's, yeah.
because that's, you have to. I mean, you don't have to, but that's the way Apache is set up right now.
Yeah, when we put PHP code in it.
Yeah, so so we'll do that, and then I left all that other example code there because a lot of this stuff you can end up using. Usually, now see, I didn't write all of this code, but usually when I write something, I'll have something that's like called mysql.php or something like that, because I don't want to write all this stuff every time. So I usually just cheat and I'll copy some of it, just because it's easier just to do. So I can, it has the database and everything in it.
What file was this?
Yes, thank you.
So there's all of our connection stuff, and then what you can do is you can go into your backtest, and after the HTML, I'm gonna clean a little up for you all here. You might run into some problems with that. Okay, so right after you start the, or I'm sorry, before you start the HTML, you can include stuff. So you just do that and then include mysql.inc.php. And then now you have the MySQL connections. So then the next thing is going in here and getting the SQL that I sent you. Is any of this making sense, by the way, or am I going kind of quick?
It makes perfect sense, actually. And this time, we didn't do this last time. We're actually recording it, so if we have questions, we can always watch this again. But so far, it's making really good sense.
Okay. So selection criteria, where's the...
I think you put it in meeting group 2.
Oh, okay. Yep, I think you're right. There we go. So... All right, so let's just you all were going to buy a call. So instead of all of the puts will get all of the calls. And this was all puts for Apple, so we're just going to get... Well, it's a little bit different than this. Hold on. Because we never backed up one step and said how to get the ticker. All right. I'm just going to take this one for example, because we're just kind of getting how to get MySQL inside of there. And we'll add MySQL Q equals this, roughly. And I think I only use single quotes, so that should be pretty close to it. And then you need to make the connection and actually run it. So you're going to do, let's rename this a little bit. We'll do query equals that, and then MySQL query equals query then and then to get the data out, usually what I do is I'll do so now you have an object. So what you can do is you can do while I hope everybody knows I'm kind of making this up as I go. This is extreme pseudocode. While, and we'll just say row equals MySQL fetch array, and the query, because it's sent back in an array, or it's sent back as an object, but then you can use this to put it into an array.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can deal with the array here. So we can do this even. We can do print R. So you're printing every element out of an array. You can print R and then just do row. See what it is. Or you can explicitly say that you want to see a certain part of that row. So we get the ticker, so we can do that one. So then we'll do a new line. Or actually, since we're in HTML, we'll do it this way. And then we'll echo ticker equals and so what this is going to do, since I didn't put any commands on there like post commands or anything, so the next time you go to this page, it's going to do it instantly. There's not going to be the delay or anything like that. It'll do it right at the top, and it won't do it there because it's not HTML anymore. So there you go. So see, now you have a nice little array of all those elements. The equity ID, the ticker, the bid, the ask, the expiration date, the close, the strike, all of that stuff is there. And then here's just me selecting one element.
Okay.
Okay. So you could do something similar, and just instead of just doing that, you can append on everything in order after this, and just output all that and delimit it with a comma. You can do it with a for loop. You can count how many elements are in each array. Like you could just do count row, and we'll store that as row or row max would be better. And then you could do something like this. You could say for or while so while row start is less than or equal to row max, and then we could do echo. This will be different. So you do row start, and then comma or a pipe, and that's it. And then you just iterate that. So row start plus, and then we'll put a nice little thing here so it's separated too. And now, oh, you know what? I probably broke it because I never delimited the first part of that. There we go. There we are. So now you see, so there's sometimes that there's more elements that it has data for, but we're still putting the delimiter there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not just seeing if it's empty, you're just seeing how many elements are supposed to be returned back in the array, because my thought is that some of them might be missing because either a bad MySQL join or there was just no data for that day. But on another day, there might be. And so then, you know, once you get these set up, this would be kind of the output that we're looking for. But maybe tab delimited or comma delimited, or you can pick your delimiter, which would even be cooler.
Okay.
But that's just an example, and that's all of the puts for Apple. Of course, what I'll do is I'll go back in here and I'll just comment out that stuff so you all don't see all that mess when you go back in here. But you still have the code there.
Okay. All right. So this is it for Apple, and we just go through and do this for each individual stock that meets a certain set of user-defined criteria, and get this information and then perform the calculations on that data. Is that correct?
That's right. So the first thing that you'll actually end up doing is you're actually going to end up with a, sorry, it's hard to type and talk, I guess. You're going to end up with something that's like an array of stocks or equity IDs. And then you're going to iterate through the list of equity IDs to get the actual trades. Because there's no reason to look for trades on all stocks when, you know, half of them you might not even look at. They might have a bad bid-ask ratio or something like that. That's where that liquidity filter comes on.
All right.
So that would be like using that first program that I showed you where it goes through and it makes sure that the valid bids are there. And that's this section. You can left join that valid bids. And instead of the option contract, you could just do the equity master equity ID. So then if you just did that and just return stocks where the valid bid right here, this line right here, where it's not null, just doing that, you eliminated all the bad liquidity out of all of the stocks. And so then your list of stocks that you have to go through would go from, like, I mean, it could be like 6,000 or something like that. It'll reduce down to about 1,700.
Okay.
And you'll have an array of 1,700 equity IDs, and then you could do a for loop or something like that and just go through and build the trades for each one of those, and then go from there.
Okay. Did you all get that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is, I'm not used to doing the screen sharing. There we go. So with that, I think that gets you the MySQL in there anyways. So you all don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to get that into the PHP part of it. And now PHP is on your page already. So now it's just getting the data in there and the form connected to the PHP code.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Anything else?
trying to think. I know how to do SQL. You all know how to use the program again. I didn't understand that probably as long as you all, but you should have it all working. So just to make sure I understand this right, the program that you wrote will give us the valid ones, correct?
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
The program you wrote, that would give us the valid ones, right? That would narrow it down to the valid ones, the ones that from the 6,000 to the 1,700.
Yeah, and it's going to be similar to the query that I wrote, but instead of, like, mine goes right after options right away. So you all don't want to do that right off the bat. You're going to trim out a lot of that SQL. So you're just going to select pretty much the equity ID and maybe the ticker from the EQ master table, and then you're gonna join in the valid bids table where the valid bids is not null, and then also you have to make sure that the asset is currently trading. So you would have to say, well, actually, if the valid bids are not null and the date in the valid bids is today or whatever day you're analyzing, then that will give you all the equity IDs you need. You could almost really just do a select star from valid bids where the day is like today. That'll give you all the equity IDs that you need, and then you'll loop through those through the option selection criteria.
Okay.
All right.
Now, the reason why you might not want to do just the valid bids is when you're looking at some of the stuff that you had in here, when you're looking at the minimum and the maximum stock price, well, that wouldn't be in the valid bids table. You know, so you would actually have to get that from the equity price table, join that against the equity master table, and then join that with the valid bids table. So it's almost like a little bit of a puzzle when you start to work with it, but after a while, it's not that bad.
Can you please say that again? I was taking notes.
Okay, if you're trying to find the stock price, you're going to have to get that from the EQ prices table, and you'll have to join that to the EQ master table, and then you'll have to join that with the valid bids table to get rid of the ones that do not have a valid bid.
Okay.
All right.
And
And then there's some other, you know, the joining stuff you'll have to figure out by the day and stuff like that. But all in all, I mean, it should be, it's pretty straightforward after that.
Yeah.
the joins are going to be where the tickers are equal and where the days are equal. Is that how we'll be doing that?
You're going to join always on the EQ ID.
Always join on the EQ ID.
Right. With anything with the stock. Now, once you get into the options, you'll switch to OPT ID for option ID. And EQ ID stands for equity ID.
Okay. But this where we're doing the EQ prices joined with the master table with the valid bids, we're going to be joining on the EQ ID.
Right, for all three.
Okay. So that's just going to be where EQ prices dot EQ ID equals master table dot EQ ID.
Right.
Okay. Do you all have any questions?
I think now that we know how to get the data, we can start messing around with it.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the form operating with the database to where you can actually pull in data, it shouldn't be that
Right.
hard. It's just after that point, really, you're just debugging and finding out, well, how do I get the exact data I need into this? I can get some data, but can I get the right data?
Right.
And where did you said the OET or the OIP?
That's for the options. OPT ID.
Where are we going to be using that? If we're using the EQ ID and this EQ prices master table valid bids join, where are we using the other one at?
The other one would be used when you're pulling options data, which if you look at the example, the SQL, excuse me, the SQL example that I sent,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see, like when you see all puts for Apple, one of the things that it selects when it's getting the option contract is it selects it joins the op contract on the OPT ID with the opt prices table. So that takes the option contract and puts it with a price. And then also when you're looking at the IV listed and the IV CMPR, you can run, well, the IV listed is going to use the option contract because that's the implied volatility on each option. The IV CMPR is the implied volatility on each actual stock. So that's why I gave you those examples, is because they kind of show you which volatility corresponds with which, which actual component, if it's the equity or if it's the option at a further level on down.
All right. All right. Well, I don't have any other questions. If they or Clint have any other questions.
No, I think once we're, like, you've shown us how to get data, and I think you've given us enough to go on now. I think we should be able to manipulate it in a way that we can get data back. Do you have any questions that you?
The examples are going to show us how to get the values that we need, right? So after we figure out which ones are the ones we're getting from the 6,000 that we're setting up, the samples are going to show how to get the exact piece of data, right?
Yeah.
So, any more questions right now, or are you all good?
I think we're good.
Okay. If you all have anything else, just text me or send me an email or something like that, because, I mean, if it's, especially once you start writing the queries, what you'll notice is that a lot of times you'll write one and a little tiny part of it can make it return back bad data.
Okay.
So a lot of times it's something that we've seen before, so it's really easy to troubleshoot. So if you get yourself tied up and it's like you're spending 30 minutes trying to get something figured out, just don't spend the time, just send it over and I'll figure it out and send it back to you, and that way you all don't just waste time on it.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, just let me know if you all need to meet again.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
See you later.